Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of the horror film called SiREN. And so I just watched this one last night. So I do my thoughts on it today, trying to, catch up on my movie stack I have it by my TV. My next couple horror movie reviews I hope to do within the next week or so, at least, are Shaun of the Dead as well as Cooties. So, look forward to that. But this time we're talking about SiREN. This is based off of a short film that was part of a segment in VHS. It was like an anthology, horror, kind of setup type of thing, which was cool. I never seen it though, I'll admit. I never watched the short. But they thought it was intense enough and interesting enough to make into a feature-length film. And, despite never seeing the short, this didn't feel stretched out. It has a fairly short run time. Let's see, it's about, an hour and 23 minutes. So it's really not that long, especially by today's standards. It's an hour and 20 minutes, basically. Whereas most movies nowadays are almost 2 hours. So it's still nice to get, kind of a shorter, a movie like this. I'll show you the back of it. Yeah, pretty cool. I like you. I'll just explain the plot to you real quick, or maybe I should just read the back while you look at this. 1 week before his big wedding day, Jonah and his groomsmen hit the town for a wild night of club hopping and debauchery. The night soon becomes a twisted turn for the worse when the group is invited into the seedy underground club, 50 North, 40 West, a home to the sexy side of the supernatural. After Jonah frees a seemingly imprisoned dancer, he soon realizes that the woman he has released is actually a terrifying creature of legend that will stop at nothing to claim her man. Jonah and his groomsmen soon find themselves in a deadly fight for their lives as they run from the fabled predator and the men who are determined to recapture her. So, it has some, a dark comedy in it. It's a little bit light sometimes. It's a little bit campy, but, of course that's on purpose. It kind of has a fun, setup of, guys taking out, their friend, for, basically a bachelor party kind of setup. I'll admit I never really understood why you'd want to go out and, cheat on the person you're going to marry, basically, the night before or whatever, within a little bit or so. But, they were planning on setting limits and everything, but the brother, of course, he wants to get his, his brother out there, to, have some fun before he's tied down. So it's a different kind of setup, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's not like random teenagers all of a sudden, being chased after by the siren just happens to show up. So I kind of like the different setup of it. At first, it felt like the movie was moving a little bit slow. When they were being introduced to basically this satanic, or this cult, basically, I guess. It felt a little bit slow as we were getting into that before we see more of the siren. But once we do see the siren, it does pick up a fair amount. So overall, I actually I thought it was an okay movie. I can't really say it was quite a good or really good movie necessarily. But I don't know. Okay, it wasn't bad. I'll admit I did have a decent time with it. I didn't think it was great though. But there were some things that actually did have going for it that I didn't really expect. As far as the groomsmen and the guy who's gonna be getting married, Jonah, and everything, I thought they were all fairly or at least mildly likable characters who gave decent performances. And I think the real highlight of the movie though was the actress who played the siren. Her name was Lily. Which is kind of funny because my girlfriend's name is Lily, so it's kind of fitting. Not really. I guess her name was is Hannah Fierman. I guess she also played the SiREN in the short, as far as I know, which is really cool that they brought her in for the full movie. She is really good in the movie, actually. I liked her quite a bit. You can see her right there. She just has a really creepy look to her. Like, on one hand, she looks really, attractive, really, alluring and such. But then at the same time, she also has that look about her that kind of weirds you out in a way. I don't know. So I thought the way they did it with her makeup and the face, her facial structure and everything, I thought that worked really well for the role. And yeah, like I said, once they meet the SiREN, it does pick up a bit. We see a SiREN as a kid at the beginning getting captured and everything, so you do feel a little bit of sympathy for her in this movie to a certain extent. But then, of course, once Jonah frees her, she ends up developing this obsession or sort of, attachment to him, and so she follows him around everywhere. So it gets a little bit clingy for Jonah, you could say. Yeah, like I said, I did feel like too much time was spent with the whole cult thing. I feel like they could have, skipped over some of that. But then again, it wasn't that bad because, like I said, the overall runtime wasn't really, much to begin with. And the guy, as far as the guy who played kind of the main villain of the movie, the guy who captured her, I think his name was Mr. Nix. Let me just make sure about that. Yeah, Mr. Nix. He was a decent villain. Justin Welborn did put a decent amount of charisma into the guy, I guess. It's kind of a funny setup of, they're not funny necessarily, but again, I kind of like the different dynamic in the setup of it. And, him initially thinking that she's almost like a part of this human trafficking setup or something like that, then realizing she's like this special commodity that they've captured and they're trying to keep contained, for their own use. So I like that. And then once he gets the ankle thing off her, that's kind of holding her back, holding back her power and everything. And then we eventually see her head split down the middle and everything, kinda, when she goes into more of her SiREN, monster mode. That part looks a little bit off. I felt like the CG for it when her head kind of splits into a little bit, looked a little bit not quite convincing at times. But at the same time, you get used to it because it does look really weird, kind of freaky. So, I thought it was fine, actually. Like I said, she is very creepy, and I was actually rooting for her, Lily, the SiREN in the movie, too. And I was actually pretty pleased with how they chose to wrap up the movie in the end. I'm glad they didn't go the generic route and just have Jonah find a way to kill her or something. She ends up with Jonah's help because he still does kind of feel sympathy for her to an extent. But it's also probably part of the magic that she put on him or something too. But they end up killing Mr. Nix together. She ends up feeding on most of the men and everything. I do wish there would have been a little bit more violence in the movie, because when we do see it, it's kind of quick. We see a quick splatter, sort of from afar or something. I feel like there could have been a little bit more blood and gore in this one, given the premise and everything. But it was okay, I guess. So yeah, I really like the ending. Of course, he has this fiance he wants to get back to. His brother ends up getting killed. I did like the brother in the movie. At first he comes off like an immature dick who just wants to get his brother laid and everything. But in the end, you can see there's some stuff between them. They either hold against each other or things like that. And his brother kind of ends up trying to come through for him, and he dies, and trying to help Jonah in the end. So there's a decent little development there, I guess. I also did, like I said, I'll give fairly likable performances. There's also Jonah's best friend in the movie, Rand. I thought he came off as a genuinely good guy in the movie. And I'm glad he actually made it. And then the whole scene where the SiREN actually pins Jonah down in this hole, and then it actually ends up almost basically raping him. I thought that was kind of effectively weird too. And then when she shows up at the end, a year later, after he and his fiance have gotten married, she appears to understand how much he cares for her and everything, but she still has this attachment to him. And then she wakes up, she ends up seeing her, she freaks out, Lily almost kills her, but then Jonah's able to call her off, and she actually does leave, She kisses him, but then she leaves. So I thought it was different that they didn't go the completely generic route with the story in the end. Wouldn't even mind seeing a sequel to it, honestly. Because I think actually Lily the Siren was kind of a fun, horror character, really, I guess. So yeah, overall I actually did really like SiREN. I did think there could have been some more violence. I think there was a little too much time spent with the whole cult setup initially. But it did work out, with how the story played out. I'm honestly feeling a little better about the movie now talking about it. I did rate it a C, but if I had to make this whole picture now, I guess I just make it a C plus, honestly, because I did have a good time with it. I liked the SiREN a lot. I thought, sorry, I don't know why I'm showing Hellboy right now, but I thought Hannah Fierman did do a good job. She was creepy, really attractive in the role, so about the perfect balance. So yeah, I just thought it was a good time. So yeah, overall C plus, maybe a B minus if I watched it again. Honestly, not a bad time at all. But yeah. So let me know what you guys thought about this one if you've seen it. Like I said, besides my usual TV show stuff, I'll be reviewing probably Shaun of the Dead and Cooties next within the next week or so. So look forward to that. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.